So an ex-building site that looks exceedingly scruffy, but you're going to turn it into a haven.
Yeah, this is going to be Christchurch City's first edible park, which means we're going to be creating a beautiful park site here where almost all of the landscaping will be producing food to share with our community. And as well as the landscaping, there'll also be a geodesic dome about right where we're standing here, which will allow us to grow all year round and maybe something exotic like a banana, but also provide workshop and educational space. And then over this way, there'll be a cafe run by 5 local community groups to help fund the work that they're doing. And within that building, a local food information centre. So if someone's wanting to find out where their nearest community garden is, or how do I grow tomatoes, or where can I buy local and support this whole movement, this is the first place they can come.
Who's behind it?
So it's the Food Resilience Network. We're a network of about 50 organisations, from the City Council and DHB to chefs, farmers, guerrilla gardeners, all working since the earthquakes to create food resilience in the city, which means that all of our people have access to the nourishing food that they need, and also that the people growing and producing that food, empowering that whole thing, have the support to thrive.
There's obviously a lot of construction work going on around you. How long do you think it's going to take you?
We are hoping that we'll be having earthworks here starting August, and then the garden open in September. We need to get the orchard trees and everything in the ground by the end of September at the very latest, otherwise it's going to be too dry and they're going to struggle. The buildings might come a bit after that. And during that time, this whole area, instead of a road behind us, it's going to be a beautiful pedestrian cycleway boulevard. And so this is going to be a really gorgeous area of town, even though it's a bit not very inviting at the moment.
Now, the reserve next door is to commemorate those who died in the earthquake in the PGC building.
That's right. So it's going to be retained. There's going to be a big lawn area and some other benches and seating, quite a plain site. But what it means is that our cafe could potentially spill out, and that could be our front lawn. So just to increase the leisure space we have available. And we've also got a car park to the north. So both of those mean that we're not going to get shaded out by buildings.
Now, funding, you're talking a lot of money on a very, very valuable land.
Yes, so this is a $3 million site. It's some of the best real estate in the city. We've been granted it by the government for $1 a year. And so we really want to create something here that's not just your Joe average kind of higgledy-piggledy community garden, but something that is a shop front to the whole local food movement and builds credibility and engagement to the whole deal.
Now, obviously there are other gardens or other areas that people are doing though.
Yes, there's nearly 30 community gardens within the city, and more if you include schools. A lot of them are struggling to get volunteers and all the people that they need. So that's why if people come here, we're going to have displays to engage people and help all of those community gardens recruit the volunteers and community that they need for them to thrive.
You'll be teaching youngsters all about food and the fact that it doesn't necessarily just come from a supermarket.
Exactly, and that's part of the reason of having a cafe on site as well, is children and other people will be able to see food coming out of the ground and then see it turned into a meal. There's a lot of kids that I seem to know don't even understand the relationship between ingredients, so a carrot, and then what a carrot ends up being in a meal.
It's obviously going to be very accessible. Are you concerned about vandalism?
We've actually found there's a couple of urban farms within a couple of minutes walk from here, and they've had very little trouble, and what makes the difference is them being authentically connected to the community that's here. So all the community is looking out for it, and it's a respected asset. Obviously it'll be lit at night as well, so that it's a safe place, but we don't want to have cameras or anything like that. But there will be security patrols that also probably come across from Margaret Mahi just to make sure nothing's going on. But part of our lease agreement with the government is there can't be any fences on this site. It's all going to be open just like any other park would be.
Now, you've got your $1 a year rental, but what about other funding?
Yeah, so we've got $1 a year rental. We've got that expense covered. But it's going to cost within the realm of $1.5 to $2 million to construct everything on the site and keep it running. So we're we're seeking grant funding. We've got a crowdfunding page, and the great thing about that is for the next week until midnight this Sunday, the Canterbury Horticultural Society is matching every donation we get through there up to $10,000. And I'm also out there every week talking to companies who, for example, construction or engineering or landscape architects, and inviting them to get on board with this project and give us their expertise or their supplies or their services for free. And I think that that's actually going to be the fastest way we get this built, because a lot of the grant funding for building works, we wouldn't find out until the end of this year whether we've got the money or not. And we don't want the people of Christchurch to have to wait that long.